Okay, welcome everybody. Welcome to the Silverlake Priestess Podcast. I'm Jaime Black, and I am your hostess, and I am here with Crystal Green, Amin, and we're going to talk to you today about kickboxing and business and all of these exciting things. So we're just making sure that we're shared in all the right places. Did you get it?
Yeah, I think we're shared. We got you on the Foxy and Fierce page.
Okay.
My page.
Awesome. So welcome everyone who's watching. If you are live on Facebook and you see us now, go ahead and say hi. Tell us where you're watching from. We'd love to know. So let's see. Just a few things to begin with. So you can find us on silverlakepriestess.com. All of the podcasts are always listed there. My website is jaimeblack.com, and you can get on the email list to get all of the updates about the podcasts that we're offering and my retreats and all of that at jaimeblack.com. So this is our 34th episode of the podcast. And many of you may have seen all the videos that I've been posting lately of me working out, kicking shields, and doing kickboxing, basically. And I've also talked here on the podcast before about how I grew up with martial arts in my life. So it's been really, really exciting for me to find this gym, to find Crystal, and to have a place where I'm working out again. It's really so awesome, and it's been so life-changing and so supportive of my energy. And anyway, I feel like myself again in all of these ways. And so anyway, I'm so excited to have you here. I'm so excited to have you in my life. Welcome.
Well, thank you for having me today.
Oh, you're so welcome. So I want to ask you about your martial arts experience. So how old were you when you got started doing martial arts?
So I started at a really young age. I've been in a dojo since I was 2 years old. I remember getting my blue belt on my 5th birthday. So we basically had a promotion, and then my parents came out with a birthday cake and sang me happy birthday. And that's kind of like my life in a nutshell. I spent most of it in a dojo growing up. And both my parents are 6th degree black belts, and they've been teaching martial arts for over 40 years in Los Angeles, in California, but they're originally from the East Coast. So it's been a part of my life for a long time.
Wow. I started when I was 8, so not as young as you. But yeah, I totally get it. And it was my dad. We had started at some other studio when we were younger, and then my dad got his black belt there, and then so did I. I got my black belt when I was in 7th grade.
That's amazing.
How old are you?
I didn't earn an adult black belt till I was 19. So I took some time off, actually in 94 when we had the Northridge earthquake, which was where our dojo was. And we had to close down for 2 years. And during that time, it was like 6th grade, then 7th and 8th. And then in 9th grade, I started playing sports in high school. So I took a break from actually training, although my parents still taught out of different locations like rec centers and like dance studios. So we didn't really establish a home base again until roughly 2001, which was in Los Angeles area.
Yeah. I think I took a break after high school. Well, I moved to Los Angeles, and we had a studio for maybe it was like 3 or 4 years or something like that. And I was doing it while I was in high school. And then when I came to Los Angeles when I was 19, after that, I was going to Billy Blank's. I was going to the studio over there, which was really exciting. And then all that kind of shut down, and then I had to look for something else. So I ended up getting involved in yoga.
Okay.
And yoga is amazing, and it's great for all of us to be doing, especially like as we get older. But there's something about going back to this type of movement that I did when I was a little girl, when I was growing up, and I was developing into myself. And this is just such a huge part of my life. So anyway, another thing that's really exciting for me is that you have this gym that's female only.
Yeah. So we decided when I was going to start a program just to not, honestly, it had nothing to do with my own opinion about separating women from men in training. I actually grew up training co-ed my whole life. But as an agreement, we were sharing a space that just train women for now and see how it goes. And it just turned out to be the right path for us to work with women only. We want to be like that stepping stone for women who are interested in martial arts, but they're a little bit too intimidated to join something that looks like it's totally male focused. And I think that was what worked for us. And in a way, like just being, that little niche for women is really the key, I think.
Mm-hmm. When it's so much fun, we all get to like hold pads for each other, and we all get to know each other because, we have different partner every class. And I also think it's just a really safe environment.
Well, that's really, I learned through that process too, that taking this out to the general public, and if we weren't all women, like it can really be challenging in teaching it and creating a safe environment for women. So in that sense, that's why it works, because you're seeing women who are able to hit hard, hold pads, and then you can say, hey, I can do that because I see other women doing it. And that's really like, and so then you're going to push yourself. But maybe if you're a woman who has, no experience, and you saw a man hitting hard and holding pads, you'd say, hey, maybe that's too intimidating for me. But we're showing you that, yeah, you could be strong, you can hit hard, you could do all this, because look, here's a bunch of women doing it.
Yeah, and it's really fun that we all get to do it together. And like as hard as it is, or as exhausting as it is, it's also, everybody's like so supportive of each other. Yeah. It's so much fun. What I was just gonna ask, something that totally slipped my mind. So okay, right now I'm doing the bikini boot camp. Well, I know what I was going to ask you. I'll ask you in a second. But I was going to talk about that birthday party that I came in for.
Oh, yeah.
That's actually how I found you in your studio. Is a friend of mine is having a birthday party there.
Yes.
So it was this, I'll let you tell us about it. But it was like this course that's designed for women who like aren't ever going to practice martial arts, or like don't have that background. Yeah, please tell us about it, because I think it's really important actually.
Yeah, so it's called Foxy and Fierce's Simple Self-Defense Workshop, and it's a 2-hour workshop for women with no martial arts experience, and they come in with their friends, or we do outreach programs as well with schools and corporations, but you come in with your friends, and we teach you some basic, easy to remember self-defense tactics, learning how to strike, and also just building confidence to get away from a situation and prevent situations as well. But we make it in a lighthearted environment. So if you're not like super serious about learning self-defense, it's an approachable way for us to introduce those topics to women. And it's like a no pressure kind of environment. Like, hey, you're not taking this like 8-hour self-defense course. We're like, come on in, let's do this with your friends. You can sip some champagne if you want. You can, drink sparkling water. We're going to show you some great moves that anybody can do, whether you have martial arts experience or you don't. So that's what you came in for. And one of your friends, she was actually one of my first group of gals who I trained when I started Foxy and Fierce. And so we have always sort of remained in touch. And she must have recommended it to someone in your circle, and that's how we got introduced.
Oh, it was so great. It was so great because we all got to practice with each other as well. So we got to practice trying to get out of a situation. And I think for me, it just brought up that I need to be practicing these things. I need to be like in my body, moving my body and practicing these things. Really important to have an experience doing that even just one time, because who knows what kind of situation you could find yourself in, and like in your brain someplace you're going to remember how to move. Yeah. Just when your like fight or flight kicks in. But aside from that, I was like my body was just like starving for this movement, because even just in that class, like Rashad had the shields on and we got to kick and we got to punch, and it was really exciting. So, you do this with a partner. One of the things that we talk about a lot on the show is like women who start their own businesses and follow their calling and support their life, doing their own business. And then you're doing that, you're totally doing that, but you also have a partner that helps you as well. And so it's like all these girls, and then your partner, then he teaches, and he's awesome. He's awesome, and he's so much fun. How is that?
Well, I have to say, so when I first started Foxy and Fierce, it was something I was doing on my own. Physically, it was exhausting, and mentally it was challenging, because you're giving your heart and soul every day to people. And then, you still have to deal with customer service issues. And so I would bring on assistants and front desk people to help me out. And it just, at the time, it was never quite the same if it wasn't coming from me teaching the classes. And so I struggled with finding a balance with that, for sure. And then when I got pregnant, it was about 3 years into building this business, I would say. And Rashad, who's my husband and business partner, he started to step in and help me out because of the pregnancy. I was just way more fatigued physically. I just couldn't put my body through the same type of training. I was teaching up to 5 classes a day in addition to training private clients. I would start my day at like 4:30 in the morning, 4:15. I think my first client was 4:15 every day in the morning. And then I would have a 5:15 client, and then I would teach a 6:30 a.m. class, and it would just go on from there. And I was okay with that. When I first started my business, I read a lot. And one of the first things that I read was just people who are successful in business and millionaires, they start their day at 5 a.m. and they finish their day by 10 a.m. when everybody's just getting started with their work. And I really was not a morning person. I was not really trying to pursue being a millionaire either. That was not my goals, but I definitely always sort of followed, but like researched and followed the people who are doing it. And so when I would feel challenged and I would want to give up or quit or get burned out by something, I would draw back to those, pieces of information that I took in early on. So by then, though, 3-4 years into doing this business, my body was just totally exhausted. So when I did get pregnant, I burned out. And my husband stepped up, and we were still working out what our dynamic was, because at that time, it was my little project. It was all me. And although he's so personable, everybody loves him. It was still a transition. And he had a lot to learn through the process, because you can know martial arts, teaching group fitness is another level. But over the years, it's been 5 years of him basically running the studio, while I do the administrative work, and I, participate in my other programs. And because of him, Foxy and Fierce is where it is today. He took it to another level that physically I couldn't do, mentally I just wasn't there. And so you always need somebody, whether you bring on an assistant or someone who has the same vision as you. But he, if you train with him, you'll know he's the reason Foxy and Fierce is what it is today. He invested everything. He put his passions and his, life goals on hold, and he just threw himself into this 100%. And without him, there probably wouldn't be a Foxy and Fierce. I would have probably taken a break, something like that, but he kept it going and made it grow to what it is today.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's totally awesome. And I love his classes. You guys are amazing. You guys are just an amazing team. The classes are so much fun, and they kick my butt, which is, what it is that I'm also looking for. When I started practicing again, on this entrepreneur path for the past couple of years. And when I started practicing again, it also made sense to me. I was like, oh, this is also why I'm interested in this line of work. One, that type of exercise and that type of workout really supports you challenging yourself and pushing yourself when you're already exhausted, right? And moving into areas that like might be scary for you. But at the same time, I'm like, that's why I'm interested in this type of business and like stretching myself, because I've been doing this kind of practice my whole life. But it's really powerful and empowering when you start and you're trying to like figure out, be coordinated enough to hit the pads right and to do the technique right. And then as you like persist and you push yourself and you keep going and you keep going, you get stronger and you get more coordinated and you just grow. And so anyway, it makes sense to me that you're also like on this entrepreneurial path. Now there's something else that you're getting into as well, but I feel like it's this type of workout that is really supportive of that.
Yeah. Well, it's one thing to work out and do an exercise class with weights. It's another when you're fitness, you're learning a skill. And I think that you can get a lot of satisfaction, just like dancing, you learn choreography. Kickboxing is the same thing. You start off super green, you don't know what you're doing. You're getting a workout in somehow while you're learning. But as you progress, you advance in your skill and your coordination, and you get that satisfaction that, sometimes you can get from lifting weights. But it's a little bit, I feel like, extra. It does hit those special, things that you need to feel like you're improving in your body and yourself and your life. And like to go from just learning how to throw a punch to spinning back kicks, it's a cool feeling. You're learning a skill and, you're working out, so your mind feels good about it.
Yeah, absolutely. I wanted to ask you about working out when you're pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
I was doing a little research on Crystal. If you're looking for her and you look up Crystal Green, that's how you're going to get, all the information about her online. And there was an article that they had written about you. You were pregnant at the time and you were doing like your full-on workout. And what can you share with us about that?
Well, it's funny because it went viral slightly because when I was pregnant with my son for my first pregnancy in 2015, there was a gal who took a class, and I think I must have been teaching the class, and they reached out to me after, and her husband was a head of like Daily Mail, that UK, the Daily, I don't know, it's like it's almost like oh my gosh, like a tabloidy kind of internet magazine. And it went viral in the UK and in Germany and all over. These photos of me teaching kickboxing. And I was just about 9 months pregnant, so I was like very like ready to pop. And it wasn't that I was kickboxing and I don't want to say it was like taking hits or anything like that. I could easily run around and teach a class. Like my mind was still there. I was just had a bigger tummy. But everyone's pregnancy is different. And what I learned through that whole process is I myself had limitations early on in my fitness. I developed like really bad swelling in my legs and my feet. I couldn't even get my feet in my shoes during my pregnancy. And the doctors would be like, can you please work out? Can you not stop gaining weight? And I was like, I can't even get my feet in the pair of shoes to go for a walk. I was active, but I was definitely limited on what I could do. But because of my healthy lifestyle prior to being pregnant, it did make my pregnancy, like the labor, everything really easy. I like talk it all up to just staying healthy prior to my pregnancy, even though I did gain a lot of weight. So what happened with the pregnancy and kickboxing is once those photos went out, then it got picked up by a lot of other like news tabloidy magazines. They tried to like spin it like I was doing something very controversial, but there's a lot of women who are working out, teaching classes, doing everything with a baby in their tummy. So you're not limited in that as long as you're feeling good and you're, I always say, like, talk to your doctor first. Just because someone's able to do it doesn't mean it's right for you. But definitely one thing that I learned through the process is that they'll tell you if you were doing it before your pregnancy, you can do it during, unless you have any like health conditions or complications during the process. So because of my feet swelling, I just couldn't go for runs, but I could go barefoot in the dojo. So I was able to teach classes still. And, I was dreading those photos, but I knew like, just be brave about it. And you'll look back and you'll think it's cool. During the time, I was mortified. And I was like, in my second pregnancy, I will never have anyone photograph me. I'm not talking about my pregnancy. I was a little bit traumatized from the first round, but I'm like grateful for them now. Like, I think it's cool. And I'm glad there's some proof that I, put myself out there and was still doing it with, my first pregnancy.
Wow. There's a girl in our class now that is, she's just showing, you just see that she's pregnant. So I saw the two of you working out together the other day. And then when I saw this article or articles, sort of photos that I saw, I just thought that was really empowering. And yeah, of course, like it's different for everyone. But
we had a gal last year who came to class and then went into labor that night. So she basically trains up until she was 9 months pregnant. She was fine. Rashad would hold pads for her. We just, when you're pregnant, don't have you hold pads. So there's no risk of anybody slipping or injury in that sense. But yeah, and because I tell you, because of her fitness level and working out through the end, it makes that labor move right along. And she gave birth that night after class.
Wow. Amazing. Yeah. Do you feel like it made your labor any easier?
Well, I think that, I don't know. I don't really know how hard labor can be because it's hard. And I'm sure it could be really hard for me though. I felt like, well, I pushed him out, my first son, I recall, because I told the story probably a few times. I can't even tell you about what happened in my second pregnancy because I don't remember. But in the first, I know I pushed him out on like the second try. They were like, push, and then boom, he was out. So I was like really trying to mentally prepare that whole 9 months for that push. And I think that, I think it helped. I think it was really smooth for my second too, but it's a blur. I can't tell you at this point. But but the recovery is the hard part, and that's where you think that you're maybe like no one told you what it was like after you have a baby, what you're going to experience. You're so ready for the baby, you forget to take care, research your body and the way it needs to heal. And so a lot of clients I have who have babies want to come back after their 6 weeks, their doctors give them the approval. And just from my experience, I tell them, you're welcome to work out, but if you want to change your physique, let's talk at 11 months after you've given birth, because your body's ready to go back together. It takes months for your body to go back. And even though like maybe on Instagram or social media, you're seeing women who, bounced right back on day 3, that's not everybody's reality, probably not 90% of women out there. And your body will go back if you just give it the right amount of time and, you're gentle with it. Don't like think you have to jump right back in. And work out, but know that around 11 months, then you're going to start to feel more mentally like yourself and physically. You have to give yourself some time.
Wow. Yeah. Well, tell us about the boot camp.
So the kickboxing boot camp classes we offer at Foxy and Fierce, we're located on Sunset and La Brea. It's we're in Hollywood. It's just basically a full body workout. And, you know, as someone who's trained, obviously for a long time, and I've also trained internationally in Thailand for Muay Thai, what I learned is that when you're really training, your body breaks down really fast. You're bruised up, you're sore, you're swollen. To train 5-6 days a week is almost, you know, it's very hard for the average person. So when I was coming up with the group fitness classes, I knew I wanted to give everybody a great workout, no matter what their fitness level was, and also their experience in Muay Thai, which is the type of kickboxing we do. It derives from Thailand. Just means it's the art of the 8 limbs. It's your fists, your elbows, your knees, and your feet. So that's your hands, elbows, you know, knees and feet. And basically, that type of workout is hard to learn. So if you're a beginner and you come in and we're like, here's how to stand, here's how your hands go, here's how your punch goes, you have to move very slowly. So you're unable to maybe burn it out and, you know, hit 900 calories burned in your workout that day. But if we break it up and we do some full body toning, we use weights in our class. Every day is broken up differently. So Mondays is arms and abs, Tuesday is butt and legs, Wednesdays chest and back, Thursday is core. Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays we focus on Muay Thai conditioning, and that's just like your standard conditioning kickboxing classes. It allows everyone to train as many days as they want. They don't burn out their muscle groups. They're able to, you know, burn some calories, learn new techniques, and implement those, you know, on a daily basis. I just think about when I trained in Thailand, I would be icing my feet for hours after my trainings because the pads are so hard and you're hitting as hard as you can. Your legs and your feet and your shins are swollen. And I'm like, no. And I was tough back then, you know? So I was like, the average person needs to have a little break in between. So hours of that type of training can be repetitive and could sometimes be boring. So we like to keep it interesting for our clients.
And it's like, it's not super painful like that. Like we do so much stretching in your classes. Yeah. You have the ability to like punch really hard and kick really hard, but there's always breaks and there's always stretching. And I think that's something that I like about it. I mean, when I was younger, I was tougher too. And I was a fighter when I was younger and I wanted to like slam into everyone. But now I don't really want to be like bruised and injured all the time.
Yeah. Well, some of our clients are models and they get in trouble if they're bruised. So we're always aware of like what your, you know, status is. But if you want to go hard, we let you go hard. If you want to go easy, you can go easy. And that's where it's approachable for everyone.
And I'll say the diet that we're doing for the bikini boot camp has been really supportive. So I'm someone that likes to eat tons of sugar, just in whatever way, whether it's in my coffee drinks or it's fruit juice. It can be natural. It can be sugar. And what I noticed during the classes was that like I would just burn out in the middle of class. Like I'm, you know, when you grow up practicing this way, you have this kind of like memory of being able to slam into things really hard. But then I hadn't practiced in like maybe 15 years or before I started practicing with you guys. So my body didn't have that, but I had this memory of like, you know, just really wanting to punch and kick as hard as I could, but I was burning out in the middle of class. And all I could think about was like, Jamie, you had bagels and croissants and, you know, all of these things during the day before working out.
That should have been good. Those are carbs.
So much. And so,
yeah. Well, not for losing, you know, feeling like you're building muscle. Definitely. Keep going. Sorry.
Okay. So, you know, I was just traveling in England and I couldn't help myself. I was trying to not eat more than 2 croissants every day over there. And so anyway, just coming back from all of that, and I was like, okay, like I need to focus. And so I got involved in this. It's a 6-week program and really just like simplified my diet and got all of these things out that I'm not supposed to be eating. And you can tell us about like the program is designed to like trim you and all of that. But for me, it has been very supportive. I feel stronger. I have more energy. I can kick harder. And that's been my goal in the program.
Yeah, well, the program is it's called our Bikini BootCamp, and it's a 6-week lifestyle transformation program. And because everybody's goals are different, I have women who have lost over 100 pounds with me. I have women who have no weight to lose, and we're just working on building more muscle. And you could work out till you're blue in the face, but it's 80% your nutrition. And I know if it was as easy for everybody to eat right and convenient, everybody would, and we'd all look great and feel confident. But it takes a little bit of education and then some discipline, having a program in place and someone who can sort of, guide you when you have questions. And it's not a all or nothing program either. And I think that's really important when you're making it a lifestyle transformation, because a lot of people, they think, oh, well, I cheated today. There goes my whole week. And what we want you to do is, yeah, definitely, if you want to feel good about having those comfort foods, those cheap snacks, plan them and own it and love it. Especially when you have a goal, though, you're trying to hit. And we work with celebrities who have, acting roles and models. And we work with brides who need to want to get their physique in place for their wedding. It's one thing though, when you see a trainer and they're like, oh, you look great. Why are you giving yourself, what's the point of cutting, your diet? And there's nothing worse than you trying to be the best version of yourself and not finding the right community to help you achieve that. And through the years of doing the Bikini Bootcamp program, it's not that it's an easy program, but my goal for you is to learn the tools to be able to cook food at home, go to the grocery store, know what to buy, look at a nutrition label, and also be able to order food out at a restaurant and not feel like you're totally deprived or that you're derailing all your progress. So it's just that, and also getting a proper mindset, which is the next thing that we do is goal setting. And why are you doing this? What's your why? Everyone's, maybe your circle, your family's like, no, you're already skinny, don't change, you look fine, or stop, you need to eat my food, I just cooked for you, and you don't want to hurt their feelings. And so I help people navigate these sorts of situations that will arise, as they're going through it. And you learn a lot about yourself. You learn if you're a disciplined person, if you commit to something, can you follow through? And, just to also be gentle and forgiving with yourself through the process.
That's been the part for me that's been really helpful, is having a commitment and sticking to it. I'm very, very flexible. I love myself in all the different stages, and it's oh, it's okay. You can have that croissant.
Yes. And I get it. Me too. I'm you're great. Eat the croissant.
And I think that's totally important too. But then I think it's a really awesome way to challenge ourselves on something that is creating healthy habits. And that's what I'm doing, is I'm trying to create healthy habits. I'm eating more on this diet than I normally do. And so eating 5 times a day, and I'm just kind of conscious about me getting the energy that is supporting the work that I'm trying to do in the day.
Yeah, you're never deprived. You're just cutting out the foods that aren't going to make you perform better. All the foods that you're eating are going to help with your performance, for memory, for endurance. So it's just, and it's sometimes boring if that's the type of foods you're eating. You want to eat those comfort foods. But like I said before, you can always treat yourself. It's not a negative thing to enjoy eating at a special restaurant or experiencing new foods when you travel. That's really important for your growth. But it is also important if you're going to the market and buying croissants every day and not filling up on those veggies and proteins that your body needs, you're not fueling it properly either. So you're learning that happy balance.
Yeah, I totally am. Okay, so something else that I wanted to ask you about. So there is, so you have this business, and then you started doing another line of work. So I wanted to ask you about that. So you're a mom, and you like are at home with them, and you're at the studio with them, and then now you're selling these organic products and working inside of an MLM. And so that's something that I've been talking about lately. So I've been selling essential oils for years. And one of the reasons that I got into it was because I wanted to start to learn how to have my own business. And sometimes we're ready for the freedom and having our own business, but we don't actually know like what is our offering? Like, what is my purpose? Like, how can I have my own business? I don't really know what it is that I'm supposed to be offering. But when you start to work with these companies that have maybe something that you believe in or products that you use or something, how to have business and how to have business in connection with other people. So you're working with Arbonne. Arbonne is a product that I love. They're vegan. I'm gonna let you tell us about them. But I would love to just hear a little bit about the company, and then also just this kind of work. Like, how is this? How do you find this supportive to do this type of work?
Yeah. So I actually didn't know a lot about MLMs. I just knew, I didn't even know they were called MLMs. That's how little I knew. People would talk about these types of companies, and there was some type of a stigma to it, but I never really understood let's be real. So when some people talk about MLMs, there's that term pyramid scheme that comes up, and I don't really like bringing that up, but I think that's the first thing that people gravitate towards if they start to Google and they look online. There are pyramid schemes out there. Okay.
I'm just going to say, most people don't even actually know what that is.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know what a pyramid scheme was either. I knew the term though. And why didn't I know what a pyramid scheme was? I don't know, but I knew the term. And you know where it came from? I think my dad along the way had said like, oh, that's a pyramid scheme. Well, not about Arbonne, just in general, maybe growing up. And so, so when it's all said and done, let's just put it this way. I knew nothing about MLMs. I didn't understand how they worked. But then here's how it started. So we have a gal who's one of my instructors, and she works with the company Arbonne. And I always liked the products. It wasn't until this past year, though, because I was breastfeeding for a couple years with 2 kids. I stopped using certain nutritional protein powders. I just was really concerned with what I put in my body, not really because I'm a perfect eater. Believe me, I would like snack and eat fried foods and horrible sugar items. I was not like being that perfect breastfeeding mom by any means. I just developed like during my pregnancies, like interesting like skin issues. I had really bad eczema. I was getting like everything was weird about my pregnancy when it came to my hormones. So I would ask my doctor, hey, did I take protein powder? And this was the response I would get. Why do you need to take protein powder? And I was like, I don't know, because I'm a trainer and I used to use protein powder to like help me from eating like a cupcake. I would make a shake, like and eat that whole plate of cake. Sorry, I know it sounds weird to you, doctor, but if these are this protein shake or it's this whole like slab of cake, which one can I have? And they didn't give me any information. They weren't able to say yes or no. They were just like, well, why do you need that? And granted, that's probably not the best doctor, but that's where I was. So I wasn't given proper information for me. So as a result, I just did nothing. Okay. But fast forward to this past January, and I started getting back on my nutrition. I started incorporating protein shakes back into my diet. And my husband, who's at the studio training for hours at a time, he'll do like 15 to 18 hours in a day. He'll have 2 to 4 protein shakes in between clients. And the person he tells to like buy the protein powder is me. And so he'll be like, oh, can you order me another bag of that protein powder? So, like I said, one of my gals was an Arbonne consultant who's an instructor, and she's working for me. And I was like, why am I paying a retail price for this product that I'm purchasing all the time for my husband? I wasn't even taking it. And she's like, well, you could, become a preferred client and get 20% off. See, that's my husband. He'll pay retail. He won't even care how much he's spending. And I was like, yeah, that makes sense. And then she's like, or you could be a consultant and get 35 to 40% off of your products. And I was like, well, I'll just become a consultant, but don't expect me to do anything being a consultant. And she's like, don't worry, you don't have to. I was like, all I want is the discount. So I sign up and I do nothing with my consultant signing up process. And it wasn't until I went to my first meeting, I decided to go to an Arbonne meeting to just go because I was invited. I was supporting my friend who also works with me. So I went, and it was a great meeting. And I say this because she was like, oh, usually the meetings are like really good. I was like, this really spoke to me. I don't know why, but I think the meeting was great. And what they talked about was about the company. And so the company Arbonne is, it's an all natural, botanically based company that's vegan, cruelty free, gluten free, and it's turning into a B corporation, which I love. In the next, I think they have like a 2020 or 2021 time frame where they're doing that. And B corporations are different than regular corporations. They give a percentage in their profits back into the community, and they let the Arbonne consultants decide where those profits go. So instead of there's a big CEO at top, those extra profits go back into the community. And so that was a great thing. They also are connecting with a company called TerraCycle, which means at a certain date, I don't know the exact date, but they're going to become a non-waste company as well. So all their products will become, all the packaging will be able to become a no waste process of like through this company TerraCycle. So they're really conscious about what the consumer wants today, which I was really impressed by, because in a way I was, not that any other company is not like this, but I'm sure a lot of MLMs are cutting edge like this. They're thinking about who their consultants are, what their mission is, and what's important to them. And there seems to be, I would say, a big percentage, the majority of people care about these issues. They care about investing in other women and men and families and helping people make more money, live a life that is, it's time freedom that you can acquire. And all these things spoke to me as someone who has built a business. I'm not scared to talk to people about making money or building their own company or their business. I think that actually something that gets me really excited, just like you. Like it's a cool feeling to be able to help someone achieve their most potential in life. And through Foxy and Fierce, I'm able to help people, like you said, with their fitness and, their mental and physical mindset. But how can I help people have the next best thing in life besides their health, which is wealth, And I think that if you're able to pay your bills and support your family, that's success. And I would love to be able to provide that for people. And so going through these meetings, I realized these are all products that are totally consumable. So what Arbonne has is 3 different categories. They're nutrition based. They have a whole line of supplements and nutrition that like their most popular is their protein powders. They have energy fizz sticks and things to help with a healthy gut. They have special teas. They have before and after sport performance products. So it's everything that I'm telling my clients to already purchase from like the local store. And I just didn't know about the fact that I can make this part of my business. And it just fit really in line. So as I explore more about the company, they have their own skincare line, which I totally neglected myself the past 5 years. I could barely like I said, I suffered from really bad eczema during my pregnancies. And I'm not talking like, oh, a little dry patch there. Like I'm talking like everything triggered really bad skin. I looked like I probably look 10 years older than I do right now, just from because I was very dry, cracked. I don't use any fillers or any Botox. I just use the Arbonne. The product I'm using right now is the RE9 anti-aging line, and they have these natural really high performance products that I can get that I would be buying honestly at Ulta or Target or wherever. And keep in mind, like if I've spent $80 on eye cream before, not before, but that's how much it costs. Here's like great products that I'm getting at half the price. I'm a consultant. And then the last line they have is their makeup line, which is all natural too. There's no testing on animals, which isn't even something I had considered. I know I'm a little outdated in that, but I didn't know if, I mean, I used MAC. I'm sure MAC tests on animals. I don't know. Maybe they stopped. But that's sort of, what's that?
Use animals in their products.
They use animals in their products. Yeah. So there you go. Like I wasn't really even making it a part of my conscious daily thought. Like, where are these products coming from? Who's the boss of these, you know, people who are making it? And so what I learned through Arbonne is what's amazing. Two things is, unlike most places in business, if you're a woman in power, okay, you kind of want to stay in power. So you might hire people under you, but you never want them to equal your power, okay? But in an MLM, the goal is to get everyone up to your level. That's your goal. You want everyone to be successful. So by them being successful, you're successful. And it's this great like cheerleading squad of women empowerment and supportiveness. And that's where I fell in love with it. I don't know any type of other companies that you're able to do this type of empowerment with. But like I said, every MLM is different. And yeah, like as someone who's a business owner, I understand the investment it takes to build a brand and build a business. And an MLM is basically the easiest, low risk way of building a business. You don't have to pay a lot of money to start. For Arbonne to become a consultant, it's $49. And it's basically risk-free. You can purchase some products for yourself. You can share the products with your friends and family or people in your network, or you don't have to. There's no penalty. You don't lose your job. You get in what you put out. You get out of it what you put in. And, so if you're a busy mom or you have a full-time job, but you're looking for a second source of income, which if you read about anyone who is successful in business, they're going to tell you need multiple sources of income. And I know that because we work day and night at our studio. We make a good income, but we don't have any additional sources of income because our physical presence is at the studio. So when we're there, we're able to make money. But when we're not there, we're losing money. Does that make sense? Yeah. When you work with an MLM, you don't physically have to be anywhere. You can do what you and I are doing. We just talk on the phone or we Zoom with each other. And you spend however much time you want talking to somebody about the products, and it's on your terms. And I can help bring financial wealth to women through this process. To me, was like a no-brainer. I got excited about it, and I think it, that's where I am as a woman, as an entrepreneur who already built her own brand. There's no like gimmick to it. I know how to work hard. If you want to work hard, you can. If you want to take it easy, you can. There's nobody telling you how to do your job, basically.
I love it. I actually I really like the idea of buying things from people that I know. I like the idea that there's an opportunity to like build your own business. And when like the path of being an entrepreneur, you have to do so much personal work in the process. And these types of businesses allow for it. And it's also connection. It's like connection marketing. Mm-hmm. There's always the person out there that kind of like makes a bad name for other people where they're trying to just convince people of things that they need to buy. You don't need to convince people of stuff that they need to buy. Like, we are a consuming culture. How many people are on Instagram buying this thing, buying that thing, buying mascara, buying lotion, buying protein powder, buying all these things? And so I love this. I love supporting people in one of the aspects of their business. I want freedom. That's what I want. That's what I want for myself. That's what I want for people. I want them to not have to work these jobs that they have to be there and it takes all of their time. I want for people to be able to be free. And this isn't for everyone, but there's a lot of people that can benefit from this type of work. And especially if you're someone that loves people and you love connecting with people and you love sharing with people, because that's what it is also. There's a lot of like sharing that goes on. Like, you're sharing products, you're sharing things that you love. And anyway, I love it. I love it. And I love their products. I had what did I have? I had the acai thing.
It's the acai. It's the skin elixir. It's a vegan collagen that you take orally with your water, and it's for your hair, skin, and nails. And it's one of the only vegan collagens on the market too. If you are a vegan, your collagen's like the hottest thing right now, but it's made with animal products. And so it limits who can use these products. I am not a vegan. I would love to be a vegan, but I am not. I'm working on it. But I do think that it's great because you're, whether you are a vegan, a vegetarian, or you consume animal products, it's for anybody. There's no limit. So that's what's great about it too.
I love that they're organic. I love that there's vegan products. I've been vegan before in my life for large periods of time. And we already talked about this. I have a weakness around sugar that kind of gets me involved in these desserts that are not quite vegan. So anytime I can be using products that are vegan, I'm really excited about that. So I had my collagen with the probiotic in my water earlier. And then I have this one that I'm going to take. This is the Energy Fizz Sticks. So this has like some green tea in it. It has some vitamin B.
Yeah, I have the Energy Fizz right here. And it's like my favorite product. And I'm a water drinker. I actually don't like sweet drinks. But if you love like soda and you love anything that's like you said, like fruit juices, it's a great alternative because it's only less than 1 gram of sugar. There's no artificial sweeteners, which is something that, like I said, during my pregnancies also, I was scared about taking was any sort of artificial sweetener. Now it's almost like a habit. I am not like a super big fan. I don't care if it's sugar-free. I'd rather have a natural source of sugar. But yeah, it gets its caffeine. It's an energy booster from green tea extract and ginseng. And it has B6 and B12 and niacin in it, which is a mood booster. And I call it like my secret mommy juice because you drink one of these and like you can handle your kids and life. And you kind of have a little like energy boost, and it keeps your mindset right. Like if you're feeling a little down or like exhausted, it's the niacin and obviously the vitamin B in there that's helping with that. And you can take supplements, but it's really great to add this to either like your unsweetened teas, iced tea, ice water, or like even sparkling water, it like takes it up a notch. It's really good. And you can cut out like your coffee with it, and those extra creamers and calories that you're consuming. So just one of those is just under 13 calories and it gives you all that. So I think it's great.
And it comes like this.
Yeah. That's the fizz stick. That's the special. And I serve that to all the gals at Foxy and Fierce too during classes, for that extra energy. It really hits the spot. I love it.
Yeah, I'm so grateful for all of my products. Okay, so thank you so much for coming here and sharing all of this with us. So tell us, do you have something to offer us? I know that the girls can come to the studio for the first time for free, so tell us.
Yes, so every Sunday we offer a free beginners kickboxing class. It's every single Sunday. Our class is at 11:15 a.m. and we do offer this Sunday class. It's really important for you to take the beginner class first, just so you feel like you know what you're doing in the classes during the week. But obviously, if you are listening to this podcast and you can't make it on a Sunday, you'll just connect with us. You can always email. Our website is www.foxyandfierce.com, and you can email us at support@foxyandfierce.com if you want to come a different day, or just check out the schedule. For everybody who comes, who's listens to Jamie's podcast, we're giving a free t-shirt for all those who attend, and you just mention this podcast and we'll hook you up. But like I said, if you can't make that Sunday class, just connect with us via email and we'll hook you up. And then if you're interested also.
Sorry. T-shirts are super cute.
The t-shirts?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you definitely want to have a t-shirt if you're working out with us. So it's a good introductory offer. And also, if you're interested in learning more about Arbonne and MLMs, which is multi-level marketing companies, and what it is it's basically network marketing. It means that if you're somebody who likes to go to a great restaurant or see a movie and you like to tell your friend like, hey, this is my favorite sushi spot, or this is the best movie that's out I just saw, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and I'll tell all my friends you have to see it. If you're someone who's like that, who's just really knows what they like and they want to share it with their friends, then you're a network marketer. This is something that whether you think it's made for you or not, we teach you how to do it. And it's a $49 setup to become a consultant, or just hit us up and we'll be happy to share some samples with you. There's a makeup line, a skincare line, and a nutrition line, and we'll be happy to share all those products with you as well.
Awesome. And how do we find you?
So I'm on Instagram. My Instagram is Crystal L. Amin. You can also find us on Instagram at Foxy and Fierce, and that's all spelled out. We're on Facebook, Foxy and Fierce, and Crystal Green L. Amin on Facebook as well. Or you can just contact us through the website at foxyandfierce.com.
And me too. I've been tagging you on everything, and I always tag you guys on my videos. So if you're trying to get a hold of Crystal, or you want to come do a class, I'm definitely going to class there. So all of you that are in LA, come.
Yeah, you can come work out with us and Jamie, right? she'll hold pads for you.
Totally. Okay, well, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for what it is that you're offering in this world, and it has just made such a positive impact on my life. So I'm so grateful for you.
Well, I'm grateful for you, and I'm so excited to really get to experience one of your sound baths that you have, or one of your retreats, which look amazing.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, well, I'll see you soon, and thank you everyone for joining.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye. Blessed be.